It's time for Chad and Wes Watch a Trailer.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Chad and Wes Watch a Trailer.
Hey, I'm Chad.
I'm Wes.
And today we're going to be watching the trailer for Suicide Squad that was initially, I guess, leaked at Comic-Con, and then they were like, screw it, we're just going to go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah, I've heard so many conversations at this point about the leaking happening at Comic-Con recently. It, apparently it used to not be this bad, but now it's gotten to a point where if you show something at Comic-Con, you should probably just plan on doing an official release. Batman v Superman is a perfect example. They showed it at the con, and then literally minutes after it was finished, it was up online, the full version. So there was no need for all these, pirated versions and things like that, and there was no, demeaning of the quality of it or anything like that. This one, they tried to fight it, and they spent most of a day trying to get it taken down and trying to find all the places it was online, and they failed.
Well, it seems like they're still fighting it with Deadpool, right? Because the Deadpool footage got put out there, and, I guess, what is it, Fox is continuing to fight it, and they have not released the official version of that yet that I know of.
Yeah, and they're still holding to it and saying they're not going to. I see an update every once in a while where they've said, I think, like they said, in 2 weeks from now, they're going to release a trailer, which makes sense. I mean, the trailer they showed is not going to be the trailer they want to release to the general public because it was a rated R trailer. Some of the things they said you don't want your kids seeing.
Right.
Which is not a movie for kids.
Yeah, no, so we'll talk about that
Speaking
maybe at
of
a later
movies
day.
Not ready for kids.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about Suicide Squad today. So we're gonna do this like the last time we did watch a trailer, the last time we did watch a movie. We're gonna kind of do a synchronized start of the trailer. This is the 3-minute and 7-second long version of the trailer, published on July 13th by Warner Brothers Pictures. And if you're looking at the one that has at least, if not more than 33 million views, you've found the right one.
Yeah, they actually call it the Comic-Con first look. So it's funny they're not even really calling it a trailer. They're just calling it a first look. But yeah, so are you ready there, Mr. Video Control Guy?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play.
All right, here we go. So obviously setting up the premise of the squad here at the beginning.
Yeah. They do. I'm assuming this scene's going to be in the movie, but they do a really good job of kind of just summarizing what the Suicide Squad is, kind of right off the bat.
And what they're doing with the logos, I really like the kind of the way it's like looking like clockwork turning and stuff. They have abilities.
They are able to do things.
What is that going on right there? Do you know?
That is Enchantress.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe her origin or how she got set up.
Gotcha. So obviously the guy's in charge of the prison.
Yeah. Viola Davis is awesome. I think this is perfect casting for Amanda Waller.
Yeah, and everybody knows military guys call criminals bad guys.
Yeah. This is very Hannibal Lecter. Yes, there.
Yeah.
Oh, and this music is perfect. Like, have you heard this real song?
I know the original song, sure.
By the Bee Gees.
Yeah. It's a very good tone to it. Like, gives that creepy kind of feel to it. Introducing all the characters. Killer Croc coming out there.
Yeah.
Now talk about Hannibal Lecter. Looks like that.
Yeah.
Are you the devil? Saying that up to her.
So good. You get to see some Floyd Lawton maybe before he's Deadshot.
Yep. So I'm wondering if they're going to go on a couple missions successfully before the big mission, I'm guessing. They're showing some clips from that.
I would guess you're going to gradually, throughout the course of the movie, get some origins for all of them.
Sure.
Oh, they said the name.
Oh, that's... I love it. Now we're even saying the name of the movie in the trailers, not just in the movies.
He forgot to look at the camera when he said it.
Right, and wink.
Yeah.
And the guy dressed up like Batman, that's interesting. Yeah, our first quick view of the Joker there.
Yeah. she's Margot Robbie. I think is going to be awesome in this. Batman.
Yeah, right. Huh?
And here
he
he
is.
comes.
I'm just gonna hurt you.
Good group shot there.
Right.
Yeah, we'll talk about this gentleman a little bit.
Right, I know. There it is. I like the logo too.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that does tie in with the comic. I feel like no, it doesn't.
Nah, it's a different logo, but it's fine. It is what it is.
Gotcha. Well, so we just finished watching the trailers. Now we're going to discuss. Right off the bat, this is definitely a comic book and a set of characters. I may know a little bit about them individually, but as the Suicide Squad, I know practically nothing about them.
Yeah, I had to go through and actually I wrote down the names of the people who are on the Suicide Squad because I don't know all these people, and they've all been used a little differently and stuff. But we can go through and kind of maybe talk a little bit about each one of them, introduce them and who's playing them. So first up we have Deadshot. Floyd Lawton, played by Will Smith.
Wiki wow wow.
I hear he's going to do a song for this one.
Oh, good. He does have that looks like maybe a pimp hat or a cowboy hat on at some point. It made me think of Wild Wild West.
But I thought that was cool, like them showing those shots. And there's a couple of flashes with him, and it looks like his daughter, which has been a motivating force for him in the comics before. So the fact that he does this stuff to, do stuff for his daughter and everything. So it looks like I said before, I think it feels like they're going to go through and maybe do a little bit of origin for each of these characters, because we saw in just this trailer we saw origins for Floyd Lawton, Harley Quinn, Enchantress, who knows who else.
There's a bit of worry there for me, just because there are so many characters that if they're going to give them each time for their backstories,
Yeah,
that is like so we're doing like a montage origins movie here.
I could see them doing it, maybe spending a little bit more screen time for your big people, but maybe for
Killer Croc's really big.
He is. He's one they could maybe spend some time on, but for some of them, I don't think they'll need that much time. I think, and I believe that Harley Quinn will be the one that will get the most screen time devoted to her origin. Which there's a couple shots in that trailer where it looks to be her as what is presumably Dr. Harleen Quinzel before she turns crazy and becomes Harley Quinn.
Right.
And in fact, in one of the shots, it happens very quickly. If you're going back and looking through it, you can kind of freeze frame on it and see it. But she is laying down on a table, and she's got something in her mouth, and you can tell it's obviously her. And there is a purple gloved hand next to her head, which, again, I think is that same scene with the Joker at the end, which it looks to be, I could be wrong, but it looks to be that his dialogue there at the end is directing towards her, and I'm curious if this is her origin and this is how he
messed her up.
Yeah, tortures her and creates who it is. So
right. It will be interesting to see how all that goes out. Now you mentioned, I don't know if we want to get into the discussion about the new Joker here, or if we want to talk about the rest of the squad first.
Let's talk about the rest of the squad first, and then we'll save that discussion for the end. So Deadshot, Will Smith, Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie. So it's cool. These guys are reuniting. They had really good chemistry in Focus. Have you seen that, Chad?
Nope.
Really cool movie. Some heist elements to it and stuff like that. It's really good.
It looked interesting. I just didn't bother to see it for some reason.
Yeah, go grab it on the Red Box or iTunes. It's worth it. So you've got her. We'll talk a little bit more about her. Rick Flag, played by Joe Kinnaman.
Which he is in a series that my wife and I were watching, The Killing. He was one of the main characters in that. And so as we were watching the final season, which was just on Netflix, basically they bought the rights to The Killing and did a short season to kind of wrap up the story. And as we were watching it, we were, kind of hitting the IMDb, looking for other things they're in. And she was like, "Hey, did you know he was going to be in Suicide Squad?" I'm like, "What?" like, so I go look. Sure enough, I look at him, and he seems to have put on a little weight in the muscular area since his time on that show. But it was cool to see him because I had no idea. My wife pointed it out. She never points out these kind of things to me.
Good for her.
Yeah.
So next up we have Boomerang, or Captain Boomerang. I don't know what they're going to be calling him. Played by Jai Courtney. So you've probably seen him in Terminator Genesis, Insurgent, A Good Day to Die Hard, I, Frankenstein. He's been in a lot of stuff. Spartacus. He was in all those things.
Kind of bummed that his suit doesn't have a bunch of blue boomerangs on it, though. Man, stay true to the source material, people.
Well, they did. They've got the tracksuit thing going on, and they kept with the blue and the white colors, so that's good. I mean, and I like the fact that they picked an Australian actor for an Australian character, so that was kind of cool. Which, of course, it makes sense that Captain Boomerang is Australian.
Yeah, it's like when we made this character, what's the only thing we know? He could be Captain Kangaroo, but that's already taken. Captain Boomerang.
Well, I heard that was going to be a sidekick, but the name was taken. Captain Boomerang and Colonel Kangaroo. So you've got him. We saw very little of him in the trailer, just kind of the one line there at the end.
Yeah, and I know very little about his character, and I'm guessing the only thing that I've seen about his character made him seem very, we'll use the word again, one of my favorite words, campy, just kind of cheesy and stuff like that. Like in the comics, nothing I saw about him would make me think he would make a good, and seems to be in tone with what we have seen of him. He looks like a very serious customer that you don't want to mess with.
Yeah. So the character of Captain Boomerang popped up this season in both Flash and Arrow. And my wife and I were just watching those episodes the other day. And at first when he popped up, they don't say his name. She goes, "Oh, what's his name?" And I said, "Captain Boomerang." And the first thing she did was laugh.
Exactly.
Because it is campy. I mean, it's the Flash villains. I mean, you've got like Captain Cold and the Prankster and Captain Boomerang. Like it's a lot of
DC
campy stuff.
I'm going to start a fight.
This is it, folks.
This is the last episode we're ever recording because I just made an enemy.
But there are some campy characters. I mean, they were all created back in the 40s and the 50s. I mean, back during that campy time. It wasn't campy back then. Now they're trying to find ways to make them a little more modern. That's why I've heard that they're just going to call him Boomerang and not Captain Boomerang. So I guess to try and play it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the fact is, if he's still throwing boomerangs, I mean, that is.
Well, I mean,
best.
if you think about it, Batman throws little Batman stars, and we
yeah,
take
but
that
he's
seriously.
Batman.
I was gonna say we take that seriously, so he could have technologically advanced boomerangs for some reason.
Yeah. Next up is Enchantress, played by Cara Delevingne.
Not gonna work here
anymore. Again, I don't know much about her character other than she has some supernatural powers.
So she's like, well, Enchantress makes me think almost like Scarlet Witch. She's got kind of magical. Enchanting makes me think almost like bewitching, taking people over.
You got to see her in the trailer there. One, you pointed out she's down in the cave with a light on her head. Maybe that's her origin. You see her again with the upside down pentagram when she's in that black water. And then you saw her like a quick flash of her standing in a bedroom, but in her full costume, which is very like honestly kind of goth demonic looking. So
yeah. Well, and when you look at kind of the different sources of power within the DC universe, especially magic is one of those, sources of power, right, that people can have, and that's like, isn't one of the things Superman is susceptible to is magic? Like, it's kryptonite, it's magic, and there's like one other thing that can.
That's pretty much it.
That is that.
Yeah, I mean, red sunlight will take away his powers, but
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of that's a big one. So a magic user on a super villain team in the DC universe is a must have.
Yeah.
Or else Superman can just kill them all. Next up, Killer Croc, played by, and I'm going to butcher this, Adele Akanuo Agbaji. I have no idea that's correct, but that's his name.
I'm enjoying listening to you read these names.
I probably should have looked at the pronunciations, but whatever. All right, pretty interesting. Again, kind of thinking about little kid growing up, like my first introduction to Killer Croc was on Batman the Animated Series, and I never would have guessed that we would be seeing a live action Killer Croc, especially before some other villains.
Well, in a practical effect, Killer Croc. It's not like they're CGing him like they did with the Lizard or Blizzard Man, and I don't even know what his name is.
The Lizard?
Is it the Lizard in the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, it's the Lizard.
It is. Dude.
Well, let me help you. I know you're not good with names.
I'm
I know
horrible with
the
names.
Lizard character. His name is hard to remember, so let me help you. It's the Lizard.
I hate you so much.
And the doctor that has like all the octopus arms, his name is Dr. Octopus.
What? Get out of town. They need to make these more simple for me to remember.
Oh god. What do you want? Name tags?
I do want name tags. Thank you very much.
Next time you go to Chad's going to become like very powerful one day, and his one like claim to fame is going to be having name tags in superhero movies. Every time somebody's on the screen, their name pops up.
Anyway.
That's who that
But
is.
yeah, so we've got him, and I mean, it seems like he's pretty straightforward. He's a bruiser. He's big and powerful, and he's got thick, tough hide. He's that's basically his character, right?
He's one of the ones they could probably do a quick origin story for, like it could be in a bit of dialogue. Like they probably wouldn't even have to actually act it out.
Right.
But I'm glad he's in there. I think that's a good part of the team. Next is Katana by Karen Fukuhara. Silence.
I was just waiting for you to finish. I figured there was more to the last name because all the other ones were like several more syllables.
No, this one's actually not that hard to pronounce. Fukuhara. So I was able to get that one pretty quickly.
Congratulations. What's her deal?
Katana. So
she has a katana. Is that her basic deal?
Well, kind of. So, spoiler alert for those of you who are watching Arrow or not watching Arrow and haven't yet gotten to this season. Season 3, you're actually introduced to her character.
Same actress?
No, not the same actress. Different actress.
Womp womp.
On the TV show, she's played by Wolverine's Japanese buddy from the Wolverine movie.
Oh, cool.
Which, interesting enough, she had a katana in that movie too. But anyways, I digress.
I'm guessing the actress has some training with it, and so she's getting some work because she actually knows how to handle a sword.
Yeah.
Here's one thing, just to pull back DC Universe versus Marvel Universe. This just gives me more appreciation of Marvel's cinematic universe being able to tie things in together so well. Like, they have been able to get their properties all kind of lined up and having, they have two different shows, but they have the same actor in both of those shows. Whereas here in the DC universe, we're having, a popular TV show with this character being introduced, and now they're going to have a movie with a completely different actress playing the part.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a different approach. I don't necessarily have a problem with it either way. I mean, one, because DC television is doing really well. I mean, granted, Marvel doesn't have as many shows out as DC does, but DC's doing a really great job with Arrow and Flash and Gotham. We've now got a Supergirl show coming out that looks pretty good. And so, I mean, they're doing really well. And so I don't necessarily have a problem with that because they're also using her in a very different capacity. I think it's still cool that you're getting exposure to these characters, and so you're familiar with them at some level before you meet them in a different medium. Yeah, I mean, her deal, there's something going on with her family. I think that she's motivated to be this person.
But she doesn't have superhuman powers?
No, she's not a superhuman. She's just she's basically a ninja. She's got, this really awesome katana, and I feel like in some incantations maybe her katana is magical or something. I'm not really sure. But one thing I do know about her is that she has fought with Batman before. She was with a group called the Outsiders.
With him as in against him, or with him on his side?
On his side.
Okay.
So if you've ever read Batman and the Outsiders, it's kind of this another like kind of a group of vigilantes. So it's smaller heroes. It's not your big names, and Batman kind of leads them and uses them for different like covert missions. And so she is part of that team, and so. That's all I got for her.
Gotcha.
Next up, which I know nothing about, is El Diablo by Jay Hernandez. That's the actor playing him.
The face tattoo guy.
Yep, face tattoo guy, I'm guessing. Don't know anything about him.
That's his superpower. He can get tattoos on his face and not run away screaming in pain.
Oh, it's good for him. Then we have Slipknot by Adam Beach.
Oh, I've listened to them
Is
before.
that your cousin?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, by the way, everybody, my name is Chad Beach.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
No,
Whatever.
I said cousin, not brother. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so
Look me up on all the verses.
yeah. But Slipknot, again, another character that I don't really know anything about. So I'm kind of glad I don't know everything about all these characters. So it'll be a kind of a good introduction to some of them for the first
Slipknot
time.
has a band, right?
Yeah, something like that. And then you have the organizer of the group, Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis, which if you've seen things like The Help, if you've seen Ender's Game, she's fantastic. She's really great. I can't really think of a better person. Amanda Waller's been played by a few people before. On Smallville, she was played by someone, and she's also on Arrow, played by someone else. But already this looks to be the best casting for that character, who's pulling a lot of strings in the DC universe.
Well, it's interesting. I looked at a little bit of information online about the history of the Suicide Squad and stuff like that, and they started off as a group of military people that had close brushes with death, and so they weren't as afraid of death, and that's what got the Suicide Squad together. And then they've kind of slowly over time moved further and further away from that idea, and now it's these villains. And when it was villains, they kind of introduced the character, which is Amanda Waller, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the initial character for her in the comic book series was an African American woman, but she was also, it seemed like, rather overweight.
Yeah,
and obviously, when I first saw that image come up on this history thing, I was like, oh, okay, so this new version of her is obviously much more fit, because the actress they have playing her is not a heavy-set African-American woman. It is an African-American woman of normal size. Yeah. And then the more recent incarnation of her in the comic books, they actually have her be, not so big of a woman.
How funny would it be, though, if they were like, all right, would you play Amanda Waller? And she's like, yes. And they're like, also start eating these cheeseburgers.
You do put on 80 pounds.
Yeah. You hear about all these guys like losing all this weight and getting fit, but you don't hear about somebody putting on like 100 pounds for a role.
We're going to have you play the Blob in the next X-Men movie.
I've already started working on that myself.
Dude, I'm hoping to get cast.
So you've got her, Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son, has been cast in the movie. They have not yet announced who he's playing.
Batman, probably.
Probably not Batman.
I don't know. They don't seem to have any other consistency between their movies. Oh, womp womp.
That's not true. Their movies have been fine.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, whatever. And then obviously we have seen Ben Affleck on set. There in the trailer, we have Batman on top of a car, which that wasn't Ben Affleck. That was a stunt double. But it looks
does all his own stunts.
Yeah, it looks like we will have Batman in the movie to some extent.
I wonder if that's going to be part of that whole backstory. If really the Joker and Batman are going to show up to show Harley Quinn's backstory, and that's all we're going to see him in the movie, or if they're going to be kind of at the climax of the movie or something like that.
I don't know. I feel like maybe that he will be a part of the story, just because there have been pictures online of them of them filming scenes with Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if they were just going to incorporate him for Harley's origin, kind of sprinkled throughout the movie, that it would pretty much just be Batman. I feel like they wouldn't necessarily have the screen time to commit to him being Bruce Wayne showing up. So that makes me maybe think that he's going to be a part of it, which was part of my original prediction for this movie anyways, was that this was going to be kind of a starting point for Batman, for them to continue to kind of incorporate him into this universe. Since we're not really getting a standalone Batman movie at first, he's kind of jumping in with Superman right off the bat, and Batman v Superman. Another place to play him in, because obviously if these people are all doing this stuff in Gotham, he's going to be around, and he's going to want to know what's going on.
Right.
And so then last up here we have Jared Leto as the Joker.
Oh, yay! We get to talk about this.
I'll let you go first.
Well, so once again, you have a lot more knowledge around comic books than I do. And especially when it comes to DC. Obviously, I'm familiar with the characters of Batman and the Joker, but probably more because of the animated series and the old movies and stuff like that than ever really reading the comics. I've only read a few Batman comics over time. But, one of the big things I've heard people complaining about, apparently, is the idea of the Joker and his type of character, getting the tattoos on his face. Now, they're not to the extent that one leaked photo was, but there's still some tattoos on his face and all over his body, and the grill that he has, things like that. There are people that have complained about that kind of being out of character for him to, kind of go through that stuff. He's a little bit more off the wall than that, kind of slow and calculated, getting the J tattooed like a tear under his eye.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the deal. We've already seen 3 very polarizing Jokers so far. The first being in Batman the movie from 1960 whatever, with Cesar Romero playing the Joker, and that was your very campy Joker because that's what the Joker was back then, and that's how they used him, and that's just kind of the way it was. So we've seen that. Fast forward to 1989, you've got Jack Nicholson playing the Joker, which
still a little campy.
Yeah, still a little campy. That's kind of like it's like a gangster Joker.
Yeah, but he was getting a little bit more serious. He just obviously, I mean, his character in general, he's the Joker. He does things, even if it's a dark sense of humor, with a sense of humor.
Yeah, even with that one, like I felt like they played it very safe. Like it's obviously Jack Nicholson the whole time. Like there's not a whole lot of transformation for him going on. Then you've got the Immortal Heath Ledger as the Joker.
I don't think he's immortal.
On screen.
Okay.
On screen, not in real life. Sorry, Heath. So you've got him who plays kind of more of almost like more of an anarchist. Someone who's just out for chaos and just wants to kind of push things to the edge and just kind of see like what happens.
Right.
And now you've got Jared Leto. So up until this point, we've seen lots of different personalities with the Joker, and it's hard to kind of get them into one thing. And then we're not even mentioning the animated series Joker, which is holy crap. I mean, that's a Joker with Mark Hamill doing the voice, and he's kind of honestly a little bit of all 3 of these guys.
Yeah.
But so now you've got what appears to be kind of more of just a lunatic, insane Joker. I mean, we've not seen Joker end up in a situation where he's going to torture someone with what looks to be,
electrodes or something.
Yeah, electrodes. I mean, we've not seen the Joker torture anyone before. I mean, he's killed people. He's killed plenty of people, but it takes it to a whole other level. So it seems like we're going to see Joker with a completely different personality, which I think is a good move on DC's part because it's been at this point 7 years since The Dark Knight came out, but that's still very fresh in a lot of people's memories because it's such a great film that a lot of people go back to it.
Yeah, you don't want to try to mimic what he was there. You want to make him his own. It's just, you can make a character, their own and have him act it out in a certain way. I think it's just the visual styling of him is what people are having an issue with. I don't have an issue with it because I'm just not that invested. Once again, I don't have the history with it. I just didn't know if you had any thoughts on, do you think that, especially with his insane kind of take on the character, it seems like that insane character, the way he's playing it, would actually sit there in a tattoo artist's chair for hours while he's getting tattooed on and sit still for that long.
Yeah. I think that depends on if they go into the history of the tattoos. So does he just have them and they never talk about them, or is there a plot element to that? One thought could be maybe each of those tattoos represents something that's happened. Maybe he's gotten a tattoo after a big event or after he's killed someone, which would be kind of an interesting twist. I mean, I'm not so concerned about...
Wasn't Calendar Man or something like that? Wasn't there a character in the Batman kind of rogues gallery that did that? He marked his body or tattooed himself every time he killed someone?
Yeah, Victor Zsasz.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So he put a tally mark on his body every time he killed someone.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean it's kind of there. I don't know. It's also we haven't really seen much of the movie yet, so we don't know how often we're gonna see him without a shirt on. Obviously, in that one scene.
Hopefully, just all the time.
All the time. the teeth are probably the bigger thing for me. Like I think they wanted to go with the visually shocking, and maybe there's a purpose for the teeth too. Maybe he's gonna bite somebody and eat somebody's face or something. I don't know. But I mean, so visually, there's a lot of things that I would have done differently. However, having said all that, that's all stuff we could have talked about just after looking at the picture.
Yeah.
I think now that we've seen a brief snippet of his personality, what he's going to do with the character, his voice, I can look past all of that because I think he's going to have a pretty incredible take on the Joker.
Yeah, no, I think his acting and stuff like that, that's what he's delivering. He didn't make the decisions, on the visual style of the character that he's playing, but he's obviously in control of how he's acting out the part, and I think he's going to do a great job. It seems really solid. And I mean, hey, we've seen a couple seconds of a bigger movie, and we don't even know how much he's going to be in it.
Right.
And he's, but from what I've seen, I'm totally down with what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can take the visual, and who knows what he looks like with fully clothed. Does he have a suit? Which apparently, if you've followed some of the leaks online, there's been pictures of him around that car chase scene where he's out of the vehicle and he is wearing some type of purple suit, a little more flamboyant, but that feel is still there. So I'll be interested to see how much he's in it. What his role is the Suicide Squad going to stop him? And maybe they end up running in, with Batman. The other thing I think is really interesting, so we talk about movies kind of playing into one another. There are definite references to the Joker in Batman v Superman, which I didn't expect at all in the trailer. There are two spots, one where he gets the note that says, you let your family die on the newspaper clipping of the building crashing down. And then the second is the haha, joke's on you, Batman writing that's on the Robin suit. So there are two thoughts there. One is the very obvious, the fact that they're referencing that Joker has killed a Robin before, Jason Todd. I heard another thought today by someone, I can't remember who it was, but they had the thought of maybe, what if that Robin is now the Joker?
Oh yeah, because that does happen in the comics at some point. That basically Robin was driven insane. Batman thought he was killed, right? But he actually kind of went insane and took on the moniker of the Joker, or the Red Hood, or something like that, right?
Yeah. So Jason Todd, was killed by the Joker and ended up coming back as the Red Hood, and for a while just kind of ran around tormenting Batman without Batman even knowing it. So. That's a couple of different things. Now, holy crap, Chad, you just found something that I haven't seen.
Yeah, so I just, for the people that are only listening, which is everybody.
Don't describe it.
There is a point about 2 minutes and 14 seconds into the trailer that I had noticed when I watched the trailer, like a couple times ago. I've watched it several times, but you get a brief glimpse of the Joker walking, or it appears to be the Joker walking in the background of a scene before we see him kind of with the line that he delivers. And he's got an outfit on, and it's kind of looks like a leather trench coat or something like that. And there's a guy walking in front of them that just previously in the scene pulls up a gun and shoots somebody as they're walking through what appears to be like a manufacturing plant of some sort. So we do get to see him with with an outfit on. Yeah. And I thought I had seen this. While you were talking just now, I was pulling it up because I was like, I could have sworn we saw another image of him, and I think he had other clothes on.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes, 14 seconds into the trailer, you can see this brief glimpse of the Joker.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the movie? I mean, the only thing that I have is just that it seems like they're definitely going to an effort to again incorporate this into the DC universe. To make sure things are, playing well together and that kind of stuff there. And the one thing that I really appreciate is that this is a big risk for DC to take, to make a movie only about villains, and for it to be a quasi-familiar, property for them, but to take some of these characters and, to incorporate them. The first on-screen adaptation of Harley Quinn that we've seen, a brand new Joker, just all the stuff that they're doing. They're taking a big risk on, and for it to come in this early in their slate of movies. They've got Man of Steel. They're going to have Batman v Superman, and then they're going to go to Suicide Squad. They haven't even gotten to Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, all this other stuff, and they're already doing this kind of stuff. I think it's a big risk for them, but gauging from reactions from everybody so far, it seems like it's going to pay off because, honestly, I haven't seen any real negative reactions to this trailer, and even people that were before very opposed to the Joker look seem to have changed their tone a little bit because now we're seeing some of that acting come out, and it's like, oh, yeah, that'll work.
Well, I think, there seems to be a bit of taking a page out of some of the success that Marvel has seen with, okay, we're going to take a probably less known, less followed thing and take a risk on it and kind of build this into the universe. So, like, you look at Guardians of the Galaxy. I really hadn't heard much of that ever previous to that movie coming out, and other than people that I know that were really into comic books, most of the people I know that aren't had never heard of those characters, and ended up being a very successful, deal for Marvel. And I think that DC has seen, okay, that can work as long as we make really good stories and have good character development and get the right people in the right roles. We can take something like the Suicide Squad that most people haven't heard of. And make a good, movie that's going to be really popular, and it's going to expand the universe in a, really quick, one movie step. They've now opened up the door to all of these other characters.
Yeah. I think it's a smart move, and like I said, I think it'll pay off. I'm going to assume that they're going to stick with a PG-13 rating for this, and kind of shoot for that. They could very easily go rated R. But I feel like, especially in the point that they're at, they need exposure. They need people going to see their movies at this point to kind of get their universe going. So I can imagine they'll probably stick with a PG-13 rating on this, or at least they will shoot for it, and somebody else will rate it. But.
Right. Yeah. No. Although I appreciate the fact that Deadpool's going to be rated R, I think it needs to be. I think that most comic book movies, just to make the money they need to make, need to not be rated R. I'm more interested in getting more of these movies out there that I can watch and enjoy than all of them, being, as violent and crass as I feel like they should be if they were trying to be a little bit more in the realistic realm. Because obviously when you're dealing with a movie full of nothing but violent criminals, this could be a very violent and bloody movie with lots of bad language and stuff like that. That would earn itself a rated R rating. But not as many people would be able to go see it, and they wouldn't earn the revenue, and less movies will come out.
Yep. So good move on their part. I'm a lot more excited about this movie after seeing the trailer. I think that it's gonna do really well. And so I'm pumped about it. Can't wait to see another trailer out for it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, that I think wraps it up for this episode of Chad and Wes Watch a Trailer. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chad and Wes Watch a Trailer.
This has been a production of Chad and Wes Make a Podcast.